Well, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on what time of the day you are watching this video. This is Art Books for Creativity. I'm Tracy. I am back with a single book review and taking a look at a book called Rubber Stamp Carving. It's by artist and author Luann Udell. It was published in 2002 by Lark Books. Now, Lark Books is no longer publishing, but I found a selection of used ones, and all like maybe a third of the original retail price on Book Outlet. They don't have this particular one, so again, you know, your go-to might be Amazon or one of my personal favorites, thriftbooks.com. I have had this book ever since it was published in 2002, and I love it, and I love the artist. Luann Udell is, you can find her on Instagram. She's very well known in the polymer clay community and mixed media community. She did these incredible Lascaux cave painting inspired petroglyphic horses, and that she still does them to this day. I happen to have one of her horses as a pin, and I absolutely love it. And she does a lot of mixed media where she combines her own rubber stamping, the polymer clay horses, maybe other polymer clay ancient images, and then she'll put together these cool mixed media pieces using fibers and found objects and woods and beads. So I highly recommend looking her up. This book just concentrates more on her rubber stamp creating and teaching you how to carve your own rubber stamps. I brought some of my own samples with me today. This one is one of my petroglyphic bison, and this one is a concentric circle, also inspired by petroglyphs. And here is a running horse. That one was inspired by horses that I've just drawn my whole life, and I typically will use these stamps, at least for me. I used to stamp them on polymer clay. I used to stamp them on handmade silk paper. I like that type of subsurface for it because, again, it just kind of all goes into a certain look that I'm looking for when I'm being a creative and trying to create some new art forms myself. So we'll get a little bit more into this book now. Oh, one other thing. That's all you need. The rubber itself and the carving tool. When you buy one of these speedball carving tools, it comes with several different size tips, and there you go. It's a very simple thing to get into. So one of the things of course, like I said in the last video, was I want to see a page where it has materials, tools, and she has that explained here. And then she has techniques explained. And I like this section as well because in techniques, she shows some transfer techniques for getting an image onto this rubber stamp. If you're not comfortable with hand drawing it yourself, then she shows here how you can actually transfer the images onto the material. And then carving basics, some very good instruction on how to carve and start carving your stamp. And what different forms, different straight lines, curved lines, you know, getting into a corner and keeping it going, you know, and not lifting the carving tool up. This other page too, I like this one because this one shows positive and negative stamping. So she's taken the exact same leaf, she's created a positive one and a negative one, and that shows you, you know, this is what ultimately when you put it down on whatever substrate you're going to stick it down on, you want to know what it's going to look like when you pull it off. So you might want to have a stamp that is positively carved, or you might want to actually have negative space type stamp. All right, then we get to another section of the books. I like this page too. This one is called Troubleshooting. If you're having any issues or something is just not working out real well for you, she's got a troubleshooting page. That's all good to know as well. And then she's got this whole section here on projects. And in the projects, she has all these fun stamps, and she's provided templates of every one of these stamps. But first she shows, well, here's how you're going to carve it and finish it, and then a finished piece that shows how that stamp actually looks when she has inked it up. Now you can go and buy inks for these. I have used inks. I have hand applied the material onto the stamp, whatever I'm deciding to use. I like Lumiere paints by Jacquard as well on here. Sometimes I will just hand apply it, but a lot of people will use a brayer, so they'll put the ink or the paint and they'll roll a brayer on, and then they'll roll it on the stamp and then press the stamp down. So that might be one more thing that you'll want to buy as far as supplies. So lots of great projects in here. This one's kind of fun because it's very detailed. It's a whole thing of pinwheels. So lots of great things in this book. And then at the end, she has templates. And before we get to templates, she has a page of other artists who have used stamp carving for their art. So again, it's always great to see what other artists are doing and the kind of work that they are creating. I see a silk scarf here. I see larger pieces. I see even soap. There's a bar of soap in here that's been carved and then stamped with a carved stamp. And then here's the templates. So you can put those in or use them, make a copy. Now, resources is not a very big page. This book was published by Lark Books. Now, Lark Books is no longer in business, and all the resources used to be on their page. So I actually looked up Lark Books, and I ended up on a website called Book Outlet. They do have some Lark books for sale, but they did not have this particular book for sale. So I'd recommend, again, just looking it up, see if you can find it in a local used bookstore that might have an art and crafts section, or on Amazon or thriftbooks.com. Again, this book again is Rubber Stamp Carving by Luann Udell. And if you want to add this to your growing list of art supplies in your studio, get the book. It won't disappoint. Thanks for joining with me today, and have a great rest of your week.